Hi, and welcome everyone. It's Lavender Sky Panther with you for another impromptu reading. It's going to be a little bit of a lightning round for many reasons, mainly too because I don't know how much storage space is left on this device. So if it cuts short, my apologies in advance. Anyway, we're going to get into this reading, and we've got 3 tokens to choose from to get to what pile or grouping is for you for the reading. So on the left, we have a universal compass that works in the northern and southern hemispheres both. The Ferro rod with strike, so you can have a fire starter here even if it gets wet. And then we have an arrow, a green agate tipped arrow, and also some green tipped matches. So go ahead and make your selection there as I kind of explain what we're doing here today and what the theme is. So I started off by picking up this survival book. Don't ask me why, but I just opened up and turned to the page, and it was all about arrowheads and making your own arrows if you're out in the wild and you need to do that. Then I was reminded of a beloved childhood book in the family. It's called Arrow to the Sun. The author is McDermott. It's from 1974. And in this case, the boy is actually becoming an arrow. And I'll just read this little passage. Oh, and I did finally find my sassafras root pointer. Hooray. So in here, there's kind of the wheel or the spark of life, the celebration of life in there at the heart chakra. And it also represents the sun and a whole bunch of other things. So anyway, we'll go ahead and read it. And it says, oops, if I can, arrow maker fitted the boy to his bow and drew it. The boy flew into the heavens. In this way, the boy traveled to the sun. And I thought that was very apropos because if you saw my previous card reading, it was all about the sun. I was guided just to take all of the sun cards out of the decks that I had and present those. So we've got a little sun theme going on and spark of life theme, Godspark. And here I arranged the candles in the arrow formation, and I was guided just to light the first one as a reminder that no matter how big or small that flame is, it just takes one little candle to light up the room, and that spark of life can never be extinguished. Don't you forget it. Okay, so again, hope you've got your little, I'm doing this for reference. Make sure you pick one. Okay, so 1 on the left, 2 in the middle, 3 on the right. Here we go. So I went ahead and pre-selected the cards, as you know, if you've watched any of my previous card readings, just because I do this handheld with the camera hand in hand, moving around. I don't have a tripod, and I prefer it this way actually to kind of move around, stay mobile. Now, if you pick the grouping, number 1, we're going to read it from the bottom up. 3, we're going to read from the top down. In the middle, we'll see. I'll surprise you. We'll see where we go with it. It'll be surprise to myself as well. All right, but what we're going to do is start off with number 1, and we're going to look down in the lower left-hand corner here and go from the bottom up. If I have time and my battery doesn't cut out or whatever, I'll go ahead and give you the numerology and the numbers on the cards as well. For right now, I'm going to read this as quickly as I can from the companion book. The rest of the cards we're just going to go by intuition on. But this message was really important and ties the other 2 cards into it. So here we go. The essence, it starts off with, the medicine wheel is a sacred hoop with the 4 cardinal directions well marked. It represents the cycle of life, the cycles of nature, and the circular pattern of our cosmos. It has been used for millennia in indigenous cultures to bring harmony and well-being to the village. Its directions symbolize the 4 steps the shaman takes to become a person of power and wisdom. Okay? The invitation. To manifest clear blue skies in your life, it is important that you take a look at certain aspects of your being. Enter the medicine wheel from the south and reflect on how you are still clinging to events from the past. Continue to the west to notice which relationships are toxic and drain your energy. Step into the north and ask yourself, do I know my passion and show it? End at the east direction, visualizing how you want to live the next chapter of your life. It is up to you how much time you spend in each direction, minutes, days, or months. But when you are done, make sure to step outside the wheel and contemplate your journey. Bam, that's a powerful message. Okay, and it does tie into the other 2 cards. So, I hope you followed along and were able to look at the image if I wasn't shaking too much as I was trying to read that. So anyway, we've got the red, yellow, black, white, the colors of the peoples of the earth. We've got so many different things with the 4 directions. You can also look at it as the compass. In the animal, the spirit animals in the animal world, informing us so much in richness and spirituality. I invite you to look up what each of those mean in spiritual terms when you can in your own time. I don't have time to do a deep dive in all of this today. But anyway, I like that we've got the arrowhead, and I hope my camera focuses and cooperates today. Arrowhead symbolism in to tie in with their overall theme. Now, that card kind of already in one fell swoop covers the other two that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to make it real quick on this. So when it talks about stepping, out, how much time you want to spend in an area of your life and looking in the past, or what you're doing, or letting it go. The time master reminds that the true master knows that time is an illusion. It's a man-made construct, and there is no time. That's why we have the infinity symbol if you turn it on its side right here. And that when you go to the circle, there's no beginning and no end. You can jump in on any point of that circle, but there's no saying that this is the beginning, that's the end. It's continuous, right? So anyway, in this case, that's what the time master knows. I like that there's an I and a me and an it in the word time, because that means it starts and ends with you in the beginning. It's the Godspark within us, the I, the me, the it, the all there is, the source of all of life, that just knows it, knows there's no time. This to me in the back represents like the dial of a watch, the face of a watch, man-made construct, and look, his back is turned to it. We don't look at that, we just focus on here, wings outstretched, out into the open, into the infinite creation, ever expanding, and no need to even look there, right? No, there's no looking down at a wrist, at a watch, or at a clock face. I also like that we have feathers. Again, to me, that's symbolizing like the antenna into the infinite, the reaching the upper realms, as we are heart-centered and ground into the earth at the same time. You're going to notice that the rainbow shows up all through a lot of the cards. Also feathers. I'm zoom back out. Feathers or something to do with birds are in all of the cards except for the very center one of the rabbit. And that's good, actually. That's okay. We'll get to that. All right, we're going to move on up to the sorcerer, and all I want to say about this is, once again, we've got the Godspark, spark of life, the sun, the center of all at the end of it. In the center of this person. And looking at the word source, excuse me, still a little too early for me to be doing this in the morning. But we look at the word sorcerer, and I want to bring your attention to the root of this word, source, but spelled S-O-U-R-C-E, source of all of life, all of creation. And the way that also I forgot to mention here is to be the creator. I don't know if I mentioned it, but you step outside of all time construct, and you step outside, and then that's when you can really see and do your most powerful creating. Okay, this one, so we've got the spark of life at the center. We also kind of have the back turn to some of the more monochromatic, mundane, right? And this person's looking ahead, presumably ahead, or at least has a clear vision, a clear path, with this spectrum or this rainbow. I think I'm going to move on, though, because there's so much more to cover in the other two decks. And I will give you a real quick rundown on the numbers. So we have number 48, which is a 12 or a 3. We have 57, which is also a 12 or a 3. And we have, what do we have over here? We have, focus, please. Here we go. 35 or an 8. And if I mess up on my numerology, my numbers, feel free to tell me in the comment section below. Like I said, it's a little early for me to be doing this, but I want to get this reading in, and it's the only time I have to do it. Okay, now, you know what? I'm going to jump over to number 3, and then we'll get back to number 2, simply because I feel like it. Okay, it's taking me over there. So we've had this card before. It's funny, but the Rainbow Waterfall Miracles. But I want to read this with the card right below it. And actually, let me do a rundown on the numbers. We've got 31, which is a 4. We're going to see Bluebell Fairy Gratitude, and that's number 6. And then we're going to have Raven Spirit Truth with a number, what do we have, 32 or 5. Okay, but what I want to say about, I covered this card before in another reading, but the thing that's jumping out on this one is that it takes, water, and it takes light, to create the magic, of this waterfall and rainbow scene. What I like is that we don't see where this water is pouring from, but we know there's a source, and presumably an infinite source. And that source is the driver of all of this. And I want to bring it down into the next card, which is, look at this showering. It just transmutes. It's the sorcery. It's the magic and transmuting. this energy comes down and now becomes a shower of light, beautiful sparks and light, a bathing of light. And we've got all the rich symbolism here. We've got this deer with the antlers, again, the antenna to reach up and receive what is coming down from above. And then we've got this fairy who has feet and legs to be grounded, but also can reach up and receives with the arms opened wide and the wings opened wide. And I forgot to mention in this, the antlers, of course, receive as it's also grounding down into the earth. And the earth is alive and abundant with this beautiful field of bluebells, which in this scene are really purple. We've got purple up above too. I think a little bit of aurora borealis action happening in here, the magical, again, tying in the rainbow and the spectrum. And it's just a beautiful scene. And the purple, of course, it's a blue purple, so it can remind you of moving in from the throat chakra, the expression, on up into the violets and the indigos, moving up into the crown chakra and into the white and goldens, connecting up to the highest realms. Okay, now we're going to go down and look at Raven, Spirit, and Truth. And I like this because we're moving from the water, falling down, transmuting into golden shower of light with this beautiful field. And these are trees, but they actually, if we move from top to bottom, are reminding me of roots just kind of dangling in the air. And in this beautiful scene, she's harnessing the full power, her glow, her inner God spark it's either within her shining out or she's receiving it from the outside in. Either way, she's in perfect balance and harmony. And it's just a reminder, excuse me, of, her gaze is looking up to the raven. And I can't remember if it's both ravens and crows, but they have a special voice box that allows them to mimic and speak in human voice and human tones. There's some great websites, not websites, sorry, well, I guess websites, but also YouTube channels that they have, trained, or the birds have picked up and repeat exactly what they say. The intonations, everything is pretty remarkable. So have a look around there on YouTube. That might be a message for somebody to look up specifically crows and ravens. There's also a YouTube channel, I think, called The Raven Diaries that explains the difference between a crow and a raven. They do a really good job at it. All right, here we go. Now we're going to go up to the middle. We'll start off with our bumblebee. I love that this one is the center of its own universe. Look at that. And it has a force field around it, kind of like an electromagnetic pulse out from the center. As it buzzes, it can like hover in its little bubble. And that bee is a great creator, master creator, as a creator of life. It helps propagate life as it flies from flower to flower, spreading its pollen. And it's just such a beautiful reminder to be, just be, that's it, and go about your business. And there's such a beautiful, if you look and study the harmonics of the buzzing and how therapeutic that can be, also kind of mesmerizing, hypnotizing, right? So if you are that bee, just be you and dazzle everybody just by your presence. And when I say presence, I mean pre-sent, you're present with a capital P, pre-sent. Where are we sent from? The source of all of life. All right, now we get to the rabbit. This is the year of the rabbit, by the way, in the Chinese calendar, zodiac, I guess. And it can represent prosperity and longevity, of course, luck, and supposedly hope for this year. I do like the idea that the rabbit, when it's down on the ground doing its thing, that's one kind of perspective it holds. But it can also just easily stand up. And, again, with my mentioning of the feathers, those are like the antenna to receive and connect in with the above, but also, sorry about this, while it stays grounded. And the shape of it is like one big elongated triangle. And so I like that it's got a very strong base rooted in the ground. I think that's all I'm going to say about that one for right now. So maybe that's a message for somebody about really grounding in and also being open to receive and staying hopeful, no matter what's going around. Obviously, rabbits are subjected to a lot of predators, but they don't seem to sweat it out that much, do they? Okay, here we go. Now, this one with the butterfly also reminding me a little bit like the bee back up here, that you are the center of your, we are the center. Yeah, when somebody says, oh, what's that phrase people say? I'll see if I can get it. But anyway, the point is that, yes, we are the center, of our own universe. We are the creator, of what goes on around us. And we can choose to create things one way or another, or any number of ways, or we can choose to stay limited. In this case, this butterfly is showing up in an otherwise kind of dreary gray world and is showing a bit of color. Maybe this butterfly isn't at the happy factor level as this bee is, but it is saying, you know what, I'm showing up and I am being who I am. And it's something in this setting to be admired, relatively speaking, for that, right? And there's a little bit of dark side, that we may show up not bringing our best. And there are times where that light starts to shine through, and then there's a time where we're going to just fully shine. And those are all aspects of us that make us who we are, and that's okay. There are other things to say. I'm going to bring out, though, again, because I'm just mindful if this show cuts off suddenly. It's just, again, the battery. I did pull, even though I don't usually do this. Lately, I have been. I guess there's something to it. But I did pull from the Romance Angels deck. You deserve love. You are lovable. And of course, again, we've got the bow and arrow theme. Of course, that evokes the whole Cupid idea when we talk about love. But that's not, I think, really what the message is about. The message here is, you are lovable, but not looking to an outside source. I think, once again, I know it's a little cliche by now, but you know what? When you do have that self-love, then you have everything, and then you don't need to go, targeting anything and going after it with the arrow. Conversely, it just comes to you. Okay. That's, I think, all I want to say about that one. I think what we'll do just for fun while my battery's still working here is just pull a few extra cards, bonus cards I call them sometimes. Let's take one from the Daily Crystal Inspiration deck, and what I get now is smoky quartz, and the message there is let it go. And that's interesting because I was looking this up for a family member who's having some troubles in the area of the liver, and I was looking up what crystal is good for healing in that area, and it turns out it is the smoky quartz. And that makes sense because if you let it go, right, then your body is not going to, there we go, let it go. The body is not going to trap any stresses and start to create, stress and dis-ease on the body. It's just reminding me of that heavily. All right, let's take one more. Let's do another spirit animal. Okay, I'm just taking from the top of these decks just so you can see. It's just kind of random. All right, now the octopus. What a remarkable animal, because the octopus, I think, has an extremely short lifespan. So I'll just use my hands here. It's quicker than my pointer. I'm going to move these out of the way. Because as we saw before, sorry about my little scramble here. Yeah, with the rabbit, it's all about longevity, hope, and that. And now we have the octopus, which I think it has such a short lifespan. I don't want to say there's a number 10 involved, but it's just, I don't know if it was 10 weeks or something very short. But yet this miraculous creature grows and has infinite intelligence to it. I don't think anything else is coming out right now for it, other than it's interesting to me that once again, kind of on the theme of the butterfly, what I'm mainly getting is, in an otherwise dark world, mundane world, you show up, I show up, we show up as this radiance, this something very different, than the rest, and not in a elitist way, not in, I'm better than you kind of way. It's just in the way of I am what I am, and I own it, and I love it, and I'm showing up as it, and I'm not going to diminish my spark. I came with this God-given spark of light, which is amazing, and I'm going to share it. And by my showing up as it and sharing it, I expect that everything around me is going to lift up and rise to that highest version of their selves too. And that's the whole point. Never play it small. And okay, that's what I'll say about that one. All right, now let's go ahead and we'll draw one more from the other spirit animal deck here. Okay, we have number 23 or number 5. We have a bald eagle wearing a crown. And the eagle spirit says, Spirit has your back. I think that's self-explanatory. I'm going to leave it right there. That's an incredible message. Spirit has your back. And let's just do one more card for fun. And here we go. And I've had this on a previous show. Well, I don't know why so many repeats. Anyway, Aspen Spirit Courage. And I did cover this. What number is this? This is number 3. So I did cover this on a previous show. Go ahead and have a look there. But once again, the message is so, I love it in German. There's an expression, Sonnenklar, means it literally sun clear, but it's like crystal clear. The card again showing up as if that fortress is you, you stand out, okay? Just inherently you stand out. And even if you're trying to be brooding and dark and blending in, you can't, because you got that full power of the sun, like that other card said, spirit has your back. You can't not be that light, whether it's going to shine full or the tiniest little spark, but it gets noticed in a good way. And again, by you showing up as you are, come as you are, in the dumps, in a great mood, it won't matter. People are going to feel that spark of life within you. So show up anyway, wherever you are. Again, we've got imagery, beautiful imagery of the aspen. In a previous show, I covered it. It symbolizes courage and strength and a lot of good things. And we've got this gold, coming around it. So, you just know that even if you're not quite feeling at your highest and best, you're just bathed in it. There's no getting away from it. Okay. All right. Well, I think those are our messages for today. I'm not even sure what I'm going to call the overall message, but I'll find something and put it in there. Anyway, I'm just going to leave you with a little bit of imagery. And okay, I wish you all the best. Have a beautiful ride now, and tremendous peace and love to you. Lavender Sky Panther. Bye.